We light our chalice as a symbol of our shared commitment to this faith tradition. And I think there's a little friend out there named Alexis who might want to help me light the chalice today. Our words for our commitment and our aspiration are inside the bulletin. We gather this hour
as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs, delight to seek and hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
Why not a star? They told me that when the babe was born, a star appeared in the heavens above the place where the young child lay. When I was very young, I had no trouble believing wondrous things. I believed in the star. It was a wonderful miracle, part of a long ago story, foretelling an uncommon life. They told me a supernova appeared in the heavens in its dying burst of fire. When I was older and believed in science and reason, I believed the story of the star explained. But I found I was unwilling to give up the star, a fitting symbol for the birth of one whose uncommon life has been long remembered. The star explained became the star understood for Jesus, for Buddha, for Zarathustra. Why not a star? Some bright star shines in the heavens somewhere each time a child is born. Who knows what it may foretell? Who knows what uncommon life may yet again unfold if we but give it a chance?
How about we sing together? Hymn number 241.
Praise
just join me now in a moment of centering. Spirit of life and love, we seek the courage to live into our faith, even and especially during difficult times. During this season of both darkness and light, may all who are struggling, all of us who are struggling, be strengthened. We ask that all who are alone be comforted. May all of our hearts be open, and may we dwell in hope and possibility. And may our hands reach out to do the work that is needed to bring forth the world we long to see. Amen. And now we'll enter into a quiet moment of reflection. Once again, good morning.
Good morning.
It's wonderful to be here in your beautiful, newly decorated, bright, welcoming sanctuary. Thank you for having me. And here we are again. I mean, I'm not here again. I've never been here before. But here we are at the holidays. You know, the older I get, the more acutely I feel the turning of the year. The more acutely I feel the long, long nights and the short days. And the sleepier I am, and the more I struggle. And I can't wait for the return of the light. I feel and I hope that my energy level will also return as the days begin to grow longer. This has been an extraordinary year. I think we will all agree. It's been a difficult year and a divisive year for our country, for our region, for our people, for our world. And I think that as we begin to talk about hope, we have to start with where we are. We have to start with where we're coming from. And so I would like to take some more reflective time this morning to think about this past year of 2017. Picture the personal, the political, the national and the international events that we've gone through. I'm just going to say the names of the months of 2017. And we're just going to try this. I'm going to call out the month, and I'd just like for you, in your own way, to reflect and think about all the things that have happened to you during that time. And if you are moved to say something aloud, please do so. Please feel free to share with us. January. So, I hear a lot of wonderful, sad, difficult personal experiences. And of course, they were against the backdrop of all the many national, political, and societal experiences that we have reeled with over the past year. And after a year like this, it's still unfolding, of course. We still have how many more days until the end of the year, so we don't know how many more surprises we've got coming. After a year like this, some of us want to take refuge in the beauty of this holiday season, and we are having a beautiful holiday season. It may be cold, but wow, the snow brightens everything up, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And at least this feels familiar and comforting and friendly. So we throw ourselves, or some of us do, into the shopping and the caroling and the cooking and the eating like there's no tomorrow, because maybe in some sense we fear that there is no tomorrow. Now others of us may be even more at odds with the season than usual. How can everybody be out there celebrating when we're all going to hell in a handbasket? And yet here we all are, gathered together, a year wiser, a year older, a year sadder, maybe, a year richer, or a year poorer, maybe a little of both. Each of us has our own way of navigating the distance between what the world is at this moment and what we would like it to be. So let's start right there, right here, because that's a pretty good opening for talking about hope. And we're here to talk about what it means to be a people of hope. Hope lives or dies in the breach between the world that exists and the world that we would like to bring about. The French philosopher Gabriel Marcel said, "The need for transcendence is linked to a certain dissatisfaction, one that is all the more troubling because one is unable to soothe this dissatisfaction by one's own powers." So that's another thing we have to remember about hope. Hope is only needed when there's something that you want that you can't get by yourself. It's like that itch right in the middle of your back. You can't solve it by yourself. And when you look across the distance between what is and what we'd like to be, and we're overwhelmed by the vastness of that. And when you say, maybe it could happen. It could happen. That's hope. The flame burns. Now if you look across and you say, it's almost unfathomable, but a way might open, that's still hope. It's shaky perhaps. It's an uncertain kind of hope, but it's still alive. The flame, the chalice is flickering, but it's holding on. If you look across that broad expanse and you say, we have to try even though we'll probably lose, there's still a little tiny bit of hope there, isn't there? Even though it's growing very dim at this point and you're practically betting against yourself. But if when you look across that expanse, you say, it's impossible. You have chosen something other than hope to fill in that breach. Some call it realism. Some call it common sense. And some might call it despair. Now, I need to make a confession right here, right now. I was not excited when I was asked to write about this topic because I struggle a lot with hope, especially right now. I'm not very good at hope. And I'm not very good at patience either. And maybe there's a connection between those two feelings of mine. Because in order to have hope or patience, you have to be able to withstand the uncertainty and the vulnerability of keeping that breach open. And I don't. I like to fill it in with sand or dust or disappointment or rage or cynicism or whatever materials are lying around. I'm not too choosy, actually, about what kind of spackle to use, as long as it gets filled in right away. But I don't like to leave open that channel of possibility. I don't like to leave a bridge between the real and the possible if I don't get to control who walks across it and when and how. Another thing people like to choose to fill in that chasm is mindless optimism. And that's another way of filling in that distance, of not leaving that space open for hope. Because relentless positive thinking, when you say everything is going to be fine, that's not hope. That's not hope. Hope invites a possibility. Hope leaves the space open because we don't know what's going to happen. It's a difficult distinction. You know, I've thought about so many ways that I could talk about hope today and why we should choose hope over despair. But they all rang hollow to me. You know why? Because I'm the worst at it. I am the first one to jump ship. I'm the first one to underestimate the possibilities of my fellow human beings. I'm the first one to doubt if the thing can be brought off under any circumstances. So how can I stand up here and lecture you about something that I'm struggling with myself? And so I decided to do something that actually really scares me a lot. And it's really difficult for me, which is to stop talking and leave space for the divine to enter. I left a big channel, an empty chasm in the middle of this sermon. And to me, this channel represents the expanse between the world as we know it right now and the world that we would like to see. It's big, and it feels insurmountable, and it's scary even to look at. It's so enormous. I can't bridge it by myself. None of us can. But maybe you can help. Maybe together we can have the courage to envision ourselves into that space of possibility. Let's see. Alhamdulillah, 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 Hope means that we don't know everything that's going to happen, but that the universe is our partner and co-creator in this unfolding improvisational experience. It means that there is more between heaven and earth than are dreamt of in our philosophy. It means that a very young girl could give birth to a baby boy who is attended in a manger by livestock and canes. It means that a crusty old miser could have a conversion experience brought on by spirits of the past, present, and future, all descending upon him in one night. It means that a creepy green critter can grow his heart 3 sizes and bust the scale, while beholding a loving community celebrating in joy, despite the sadness and disappointment of a stolen holiday feast. It means that Charlie Brown's foot really could make contact with that football, and that a pathetic little half-dead tree could light up the night with stately beauty, because all it needs is a little love. It means that a small band of brothers could drive invaders out of a desecrated temple and restore it to its former glory, and that a measly 1 day's worth container of oil could keep the temple lights burning brightly for over a week. It means that life is a beautiful, unpredictable, wild and woolly ride, and you are on it, and I am on it, but none of us are the driver, and none of us are the navigator, but we're not exactly just passengers either. It's a shared experience, and you are an integral, beautiful, essential co-creator in this terrifying, gut-wrenching, and soul-stirring music that we make together. So, keep your heart open to possibility in 2018. And keep your eyes on that breach between what is and what may be. Because that's where all the most interesting things happen. And keep the holiday season in whatever way is most heartening for you. And whatever else you do this December, keep that sacred chalice burning in your heart. And now, let's sing together. Hymn number, I believe it's 221. Light one candle.
Rise to God in spirit. extinguish our chalice.
These lights will still burn.
Extinguish this flame.
but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Let the light shine.
Join us for worship every Sunday at 10 a.m. at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Canandaigua, a welcoming congregation. We are located at 3024 Cooley Road, 4 miles west of South Main Street, Canandaigua, just north of the intersection with Routes 5 and 20. Look for the blue signs just before the turn. Your comments about this program or questions about the church are welcome at 585-396-1370 or at our website, www.canandaiguauu.org. Producer and editor, Daniel Brigham.